torpedo that sunk the Cheonan and took the lives of 46 South Korean sailors was fired by a North Korean submarine.
Homefront is really a story about occupied USA in 2027.
The big thing for us from the beginning has been offer the player a unique core fantasy that they haven't had before. You know, if you want to play sci-fi Space Marines, there's tons of games that do that. If you want to play a modern professional soldier, you certainly got more than enough options to do that. In my eyes, we represent the only game that offers you this vibe of playing as a civilian, working with civilians under this foreign occupation. The Resistance doesn't have overwhelming numbers. They don't have the technology. They're forced to kind of scrounge what they have. The enemy is the one with the overwhelming numbers in this game, so that colors all our mission designs. When the Resistance does an attack, they usually have to pull out really quick because the enemy responds with overwhelming numbers, and it sort of represents a unique gameplay vibe in this title.
So one of the key things we talk about, and that really is the X for our world in a way, is a term called the familiar has become alien. So places that you've grown up, shopped, to see those places twisted by occupation and the energy crisis and kind of the financial collapse and so on, where it's like, wow, like I used to live there, I used to carry water in those white buckets, I used to shop at that store, and now I look at it and there's something really wrong with it.
It wasn't about going in and saying, oh, how do we top everybody on their weapons, or how do we top the AI, or how do we top the environments? It's really about, okay, how do we sell this feeling, this emotion, this world, and how do we try and get total immersion? There's no cutscenes. It's definitely one of those things where the experience is just coming at you, right? And so it's not passive. It's definitely very, very active for the player, but we don't want to interrupt that immersion factor with, letterboxing it or doing some sort of cutscene.
You have a squad. There's 5 people in your squad, and they persist pretty much throughout the game. Each one of them has different motivations, different fighting styles, etc. It's really about working with your squad. A classic resistance cell or insurgent cell is 5 people or less, and they don't really relate to any other resistance cells in case somebody gets captured. So they're all segmented and operate independently, and our squad is the same. So you might have some battles where you see other resistance cells fighting, but really it's all about you and your five members of your squad. We have some moments that are very much about character, about how civilians are affected by this. A big theme of the game is American society and what happens to it when they get occupied. All the different ways the civilians are fractured. Some of them are turned into slave laborers, some of them become copacetic with the Koreans and work for them, others take up arms and resist, and we kind of persist that vibe through the whole thing. You'll be fighting to protect children in this game. There'll be women with babies that are under fire that you're sort of meant to protect and defend. So all these unique things, and it's all about sort of American civilians and what happens to them in this situation.
There is some future weaponry. In Frontlines, that was a really big focus, and we've reduced that a little bit in Homefront, but it's still prevalent. For example, the Goliath autonomous combat vehicle. That type of technology is in prototype today. It's actually pretty awesome when you see the videos of it and so on. So the idea is that the Resistance, as the country has kind of fallen apart with the EMP and the cyber attack, they've been able to sort of do their little raids and get some of this equipment. So Goliath is this unmanned combat vehicle that you saw, that you're able to control the rockets and so on. So that's definitely a future technology that's kind of reflective of the year 2027, and the Resistance have sort of made that work for them. So the release date, Homefront is looking to ship in winter of next year.